We have done all the 5 fund transfer price conferences. That this is a 5th conference, and we've done all of those. MORS software have been involved, and then we have done together with you on the springtime. There is this liquidity risk event, similar kind. So we have done maybe four of those. We are ex-bankers. Most people we've worked in banks, and we live those daily problems or dilemmas, and we try to solve them as, in that sense, peers here. So it's super interesting and important for us to have these occasions to change thoughts, and it's absolutely not trying to squeeze and give brochures and sell software. It's changing thoughts and comparing and reflecting what happens in the markets and what are the sentiment of the time, and changing it with 80 bankers with different backgrounds from different countries with different balance sheets. So that's very, very interesting and important to hang in the time. Presented with my colleague Peter about the dynamics of balance sheet management and how that ties and should tie back to FTP. So it's a very, very interesting moving target and more alive target rather than one-off month-end analytics. Balance sheet is alive heavily every day, and from that point of view affecting all ratios, as we have heard also today, and then using that know-how where and what parts are especially dynamic in your balance sheet as an input to your internal pricing mechanism. Then what's driving the market is a perfect question, because we did MORS software did a liquidity risk management survey this summer, and it's the 5th annual survey where 89 banks gave their comments back in 5 questions, and what's driving development need and the intraday development of intraday elements in liquidity risk analytics, and the driver is absolutely changing. Yes, taking 6 years back, 7-8 years back, survival was the one. So you really need to make sure that the banks are alive, and from that on, regulatory requirements getting in place, Basel III, liquidity LCR ratios and so on. When they are in place, you really need to start to prognose where your next measured point, what the figure would be, and what can you do for that. So all that is increasing the dynamics all the time, and at the same time, the very, very interesting point this year was that the regulation is coming now from all over, and it's not just official regulation, it's rating agencies, it's your self-assessments, it's your internal rules, and all those, like maybe the intention was that it should be one framework where you decide where you can move inside that, but those frames are not the same, and they are all a little bit different, so it leaves you really, really small area to move for each bank, and that is very, very interesting, and forecasting. Banks have the capability of forecast their own measures because that's how they live and that's how they see the most important ones, but those ones that are squeezed for everybody, banks are not the same. We just tend to on the street think that banks are banks, but they are not. Every balance sheet is different, so every balance sheet takes those ratios a bit differently. So from that point of view, it's a really, really interesting dilemma how banks survive of swimming in the demand of knowing where the next ratio or requirement hits, and are you in the frame. So it's really, really interesting dynamic, and many banks are not capable of forecasting the official ratios yet. We are specialized in treasury, risk, and ALM solutions with the edge that we are capable in real-time analytics and real-time reporting.